So has anybody got a favorite ratchet? If you got a ratchet you really love, how about putting it in the description? That way I can maybe check it out. I was looking for a ratchet because I was having some issues with mine, just the chrome on the handle. And I really like this Craftsman Overdrive. What I like about it is I do like the finish on it. Now it is getting, and I'll try to show you close up here, it is getting a little scratchies on it and stuff from using it. It's supposed to be a 180 tooth ratchet. Here, let me bring you over here. Got the camera pointed in the wrong direction, don't I? So here's what I ended up getting. This Craftsman Overdrive. It says it's 180 tooth, but I believe it's 180 positions. I think it's made in Taiwan, if I read that right. Anyway, 3/8 dry ratchet. I was looking for a ratchet to replace one, and this is what I ended up choosing. About $30 some at my local Ace hardware store, so I could just go pick it up. I was using this, which is a Stanley ratchet, 120 tooth. I like this ratchet. I guess I've had it for 6 years, but the chrome's starting to peel off, and you can feel it flaking on the handle and stuff. So I'm about done with it as my everyday ratchet for that reason. I like that the gear changer thing here, we're gonna call it, is pretty flush, and that button's pretty flush. Now they did a pretty good job here too. It's up just a wee little bit. I don't know if you can catch that or not, but the way they got it tapered and all, it's pretty good, and it's good to get your thumb on there. It's a little stiff to change directions, but so isn't this one, and I kind of like that because I don't accidentally run into stuff. You know, some people might not like that. Now here's what it sounds like. I've been using this ratchet. I don't know if you can see, there's, I don't know if you can get it right light or not. There's some scratches on it, nothing deep or nothing major, but there is some scratches on it. Maybe one little ding down here. The way it's made, it's a fairly good sized head for a ratchet. And then this handle. The only thing about the handle is I find myself grabbing up here. For some reason it just feels better this way to me with this ratchet. Let me zoom you out a little bit. Because then I just feel like I got better control of this ratchet. And I've been using it. I like the most parts of this ratchet. Now this older ratchet here I had, for some reason every time I grabbed it, I was way out here on the end of the handle. That's just where it feels most comfortable. It might be maybe the diameter on this one feels just a little smaller. Might just be because of the flat spots. But right at the end of the flat spot on this very end right here, I wish I had just rounded that little corner of that lip there off a little bit. It's not sharp or nothing. The other thing about this ratchet is it seems to have a little more back drag than a lot of other ratchets. And it's not terrible, it's not bad, but it's a little bit more noticeable than what I was using. So when this thing gets used for a while, it probably will loosen up some. Another thing I like about these ratchets, see the two little screws coming through? This plate comes off by the two screws going all the way through the head of the ratchet. So long as you don't lose them screws or whatever, or as long as there's a rebuildable kit available, this ratchet should be rebuildable. As far as the ambles with the quick release in them, on these size ratchets, I like it. On a regular standard size ratchet, I think that's great. Does it work? Let me get this up here. There, we'll put that right in. We'll put that right in there. Locked on. So yeah, it does work. So there's some things I do like about this. I'm not sure how well it's going to hold up because of the little scratching I see already, but we'll find out. As far as smoothness, it seems okay. The anvil, like I say, don't have much wiggle room and doesn't come in and out too awful much. So it is like, as far as a bunch of the other ratchets I have, it feels the most solid, maybe the best machined inside. Maybe that's the way I can say it. And it sounds solid when you're... Now it is a little wider. Okay. This is what I had been using. I don't know if I'm showing you that. I can't even tell if I got them even. Trying to look at the viewfinder. But anyway, the head this way. This one is a little skinnier, but it's not that much. I mean, most of the time that doesn't really affect you. And you can always have just a smaller ratchet around just to do it. Here, this is like the 90 tooth. They are a lot smaller than like the 90 tooth is. The 90 tooth. Just something about the 90 tooth. Maybe I haven't met the right ratchet yet. But I think that's basically what this is, a 90 tooth with staggered pawls. If that makes any sense. So far the things I don't care for as much is a little bit extra back drag, but I think that's going to work out of it somewhat. I wish they would have just done this little smoothing on that part. That's, you know, none of that is the deal breakers. But what does bother me the most about this ratchet is this edge right here. I don't know if you can see, but whenever you rub your finger over it, you know how like a knife edge will kind of catch you, you feel the, and I'm not saying it's sharp like a knife, see, it ain't gonna cut you or nothing, you know. But that edge is just, I don't know, just a little sharper than I'd like. When you rub your finger over it, you feel it catching your fingerprint like. Same with this bottom edge. At least this ratchet is, anyway. That's my biggest downfall. Because if you're doing something, you gotta use this ratchet like this. Just doing this right here, I feel that in my hand. And now I'm subconscious of what's going on in my hand here. Where something like this is beveled, and I do that, that's just like a ball around in my hand. You know what I mean? I don't feel nothing catching or rubbing hardly or nothing that I gotta worry about. And I'm not saying this would cut you, but it just, I don't know, to me it feels, it makes me aware of it, and then, I don't know, I don't like tools that does that. But that's my only complaint at all about this ratchet, is this hard line right here, the edge, and this hard edge here. Everything else on this thing works pretty good. Now the other thing I did notice is this comes in this thing here, and putting this in there, it's hard to really tell what the ratchet feels like. But when I put it in there, there's a little arrow up here, and I made a mark on a notch, and I turned this as far as it would go. 180 tooth, they say. This is 120 tooth, and when I did it the exact same thing in there, I turned the exact amount, if not just a wee little bit farther. So is it because of the shape of the handle and I have more room down in here? I don't know. But to me, they're about the same. So to me, you don't gain or lose. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I could be. You want to see how it compares to some older Craftsman ratchets? By the way, this thing, can you see? about 8 inches. That handle, you know, it's really hard to measure that way. Somewhere about a 1/2 inch maybe. 9/16 that way maybe, and a 1/2 inch the other. It's hard to say that way. We can get an idea here though. That head's about, what, 5/8 of an inch? Not quite 5/8 maybe. And then, what was that, about 1.25 inches, I think, across there. And this ratchet's heavy compared to other ones. It feels like it does have some weight to it. Now here, look at here. 24 tooth, I believe. Quick release. It works differently. It just does, the ball pulls it in. But now, there's a difference in them. I think this was 24 tooth. Until I used that one, I still got a sticker on it. Wonder if I replaced that one or something. This one is, I don't know what it says. I don't know if that's made in USA one or not without taking a sticker off. This one here is forged in USA. A V, looky here, this one's a little shorter. You know, something about these old ratchets, they're coarse, but they're smooth in the same way. I don't understand, you know, it's, some ratchets you feel it all the way through. A lot of the 90 tooth ratchets, it seems like whenever they ratchet, I feel it hard through the handle. But anybody know anything about these? I think this was called a Flyin V ratchet, made a long time ago. Anyway, that's kind of comparing to that. And I had another little thing here. Here it is. Speaking of that Flyin V. Don't know what it is. All it says is Japan right there. And I should have a socket because this thing lays in a drawer. It's really coarse and stiff. It probably needs oiled up, cleaned up. But it's made a lot other than the handle, huh? So anybody got any information on either one of these? Now let's do one last thing and then I'll let you go. We're gonna just loosen the bar nut on here and show you that the ratchet does work. We'll do one with this one. Okay. I'm talking about the back drag. Little places like that's where you notice it. Try to reach out at the end of that handle, but I don't. Now here's the old Flyin V. I keep forgetting it flips the other way. And yes, I still use this ratchet some. Or sometimes that little short handle just goes in there well. Anyway, it's not a bad ratchet. My only complaint is that edge right here on the top and the bottom. Other than that, the ratchet's pretty good actually. So, $30, you decide.